Hello everyone, I'm Diane, welcome to my channel Beyond the Sewing Room. A few people had said they'd like to see the process of the rucksack that I'm going to be making. So I'm starting it today, so I thought I'd film a few little clips to show you and maybe do a little sew along of what I'm making. Now it is a bit of a winging it project, so I've got my husband's rucksack here. I'm making it a little smaller than that. I'm not doing it the same shape. I just wanted to get an idea of how big that was, and I'm making mine smaller. And also it is a different shape underneath, so I'm going to have a panel underneath, a panel coming round for the top with a zip in it, maybe a few pockets and the front and back, and then instead of using the webbing for the straps or the canvas sort of strips, I'm going to make them out of fabric. So I've got my fabrics here, got my tape measure and some tissue paper, which is the outside bits of patterns which I always save. And I've already cut out some of my bits now, so I'm going to show you what I've cut out and what I've done so far, and then I'll carry on filming bits as I do it, and then hopefully this will be useful to you. If you don't like the size I've done, you'll just need to scale it up if you're going to be making one as well. And also if you want to line it, of course you'll need to cut lining pieces. So I'm going to line mine because I may as well make it nice and fun. So I hope you enjoy this. So here I have this zip, which I already had, and it's just the right length. So this particular one is 14 inches, and I've cut strips to go either side of it like this, and then a deeper one which will go all the way around the bottom and up the sides and meet the zip and these two pieces at the sides. I'm also going to add a couple of little pockets, I think, so I'll show you that in a minute. So those are the pieces I've cut so far. So a centimetre seam is going to go either side of this zip here, and then again on these pieces. But what I've done is I've pinned my tissue paper either side of my zip here, and I've placed it on top of the wider strip, which is going to go all the way around the bottom and up the sides. And the width of this strip here at the bottom is roughly 8.5 centimetres, and the length of it is 53, because that one's longer than these, because that's going to come up the sides. And I've allowed for a 1 centimetre seam where it's going to join here. Here I've pinned these parts here that are going to go either side of the zip to the bottom part, and I'm going to allow a 1 centimetre seam, and I've pinned them together so that I can place it on the tissue paper and get an idea of how much space I've got for the middle. Here I've pinned my outer pieces to the tissue paper. So after I'd placed that on, I've cut out this shape here. So what I did is I drew around the inner of those pieces that I'd pinned together loosely. Then I folded this sheet in half and then cut it so that it's sort of even. So I'm going to be cutting 2 like that in fabric, the outer fabric, and 2 in a lining as well. And I'm also going to place more tissue paper across it now to mark out where I will have pockets. So I've just placed my outer piece on top like this. I want it to come to about there, and I'm just going to draw around that now. Now I've cut 2 shapes like this that are slightly shaped at the bottom, and I'm going to cut 4 in fabric of those, and also maybe add some padding inside. That's going to go over the shoulder. And then these are going to be folded in twice, then folded again to make straps, because I'm using that instead of the sort of canvas strapping, and they're going to go through loops so that you can pull them tight. So here are my pieces. Sorry for the wobble on the phone, but I'm just holding it right now. So I've used all the colours. So I've got green for the underneath panel, the pattern one for the pieces down the sides of the zip, and pink straps, grey for the back. This is an inside pocket. I've cut 2 of each of the main fabric. Got red for the front outer and the print for the front pocket. I've also cut some strips in this mustard to make some fake piping with. So I thought I'd show a little bit more now. I've just been out for a walk, so I'm a little bit dishevelled. Anyway, I thought I'd show this. So what I've done is I've taken one of my back pieces and the bit that I'm using for the fake piping, and I've just folded it in half, placed it on the edge like this, and stitched it in like a centimetre all the way around. Now you can sew both of your back pieces together if you're doing 2. Like I am, so I'm doing 1 for the outer and 1 for the inner. You can use something different for lining, or you can sew them up separately and then place one inside the other, but then where the zip meets on the inside you will have to hand stitch that bit in and turn it all through. But what I'm going to do today is I'm going to sew my pieces, these two together, and then each of the other pieces together. I'm going to sew them all together as one layer, so it's double, but in between this one and this one for the back, I'm going to add a little bit of strengthener for the back to make the rucksack more stable. So I'm not going to do this all over because I don't want to make it too heavy, but I do want the back of it to be a little bit padded and feel a little bit stronger, like a rucksack would. So you can use a variety of things for that. You could do interfacing, strong interfacing on both pieces if you wish. You could either, you could also add extra layers in between, or you can use proper bag strengthener if you have it or if you want to buy it. So that's what I'm going to do with this. I'm going to do this piping on both this back piece and on the red front piece that I cut, and then add the other piece over the top. And I'm also on this piece going to add in my inside pocket for my phone on the back. Now on the front pocket that's going on the outside of the rucksack, I've cut it double like this. I've cut a piece of material for the fake piping there, and I've just sandwiched it, look, between the layers. And then that's going to be pressed like that and stitched straight over the top. So I'm going to finish putting my piping pieces on the red section now. So now I'm adding the fake piping to the red, but I've just realised I started doing it. I need to have my pocket on first. So I've placed my pocket across the centre front like this, and now I'm putting my piping on, because obviously we want that enclosed behind the piping as well as the side parts. Now I've changed to a zipper foot and I'm sewing a panel on either side of the zipper like this. So I've got my patterned fabric on the top and just plain grey underneath. I'm going to do that now on the other side. Now I've folded my strap pieces in half, folded them again like this, and then again I'm going to sew down each side. I've added on a little tab at the top and one of my labels here in grey, so that'll be to the inside when I've stitched this part with the zip on around the edges. Just put my straps to one side for a moment. The straps will need to be caught in at the top and underneath, so I need to finish doing those. I've enclosed a piece of the foam inside these straps that go over the shoulder, but I'm also going to catch in that raw edge with some bias tape like this. So I'm stitch it on this side, fold it over, and then stitch it down on that side. So I'm attaching my straps now before I attach this outer part with the zip and the back. Now I haven't got proper rucksack sliders because I'm just making this right now, so I've just used normal sliders for now, and I'll probably change them at a later date when I've got some. And now I'm going to put the part with the zip on. So I need to place it, the wrong side's facing like this, and then I'm going to apply my back. Right, so the rucksack is finished. I did run out of battery for a little bit of it, so I'm sorry if there's a few clips missing. Didn't realise it had run out. But anyway, here we are. Now I did use my bag yesterday. So yesterday we went out on a bike ride. I used my bag. I did find that, I think you remember me saying that I'd only put padding in this back part here. Now when I've made bags in the past I have had to pad all the areas, but I thought try and be economical with it, and also I didn't think it'd need it at the front, especially when it had things in it. But I did find yesterday, and I'll insert some photos here, that the front part did sort of sag down a little bit without it in, even with the extra layers of fabric and also around the curve at the top. So what I've done, and I'll show you now, is I've added another lining to the front in this pink, just because I had a piece of this pink dotted fabric left in a cotton, and it was a small piece but just big enough to do the front and around these curved parts. So I thought I'd use that up, and I cut some more foam So I cut the foam the same size as my front piece and back piece again, and also the two thin pieces that go around the zip, and I attached those to the lining and then just hand stitched it to the back on the inside like this. So this has already got the foam in and my pocket, so I didn't need to redo that part, just the front and the top curve. And I found that that is holding up much better now with that padding in it. So I'm really pleased with how this turned out. I mean, yesterday, even though the top, I say on the photos, like sagged a little bit because the bag wasn't full as well, I only had like an extra top in because it was quite a cold day yesterday. And where we were cycling to, it goes really high up towards the moors and it gets really cold the further you get along there. So yeah, I had an extra top in it and my phone and some tissues, and that was about it because my husband had the snacks and water in his rucksack. But you could fit a water bottle in here easily and some snacks. I think you'll agree it's probably more of a child's size, but that's just what I wanted. I didn't want anything too heavy. I just want to be able to carry the essentials really in it. And it'll be great for when I'm out walking with the dogs as well. And I don't want a handbag slipping off my shoulder. I think I'm going to knit some more of these for myself as well. Like smarter ones for if I want to have a rucksack and we're on holiday and we're in town or something. But I've got lots of scraps and it didn't cost me any money, so that's the main thing, and I enjoyed making it. I'm not going to pretend that it was quick. Yeah, it did take me quite a while because just figuring things out really. I mean, I have made rucksacks before, but because I was using my own measurements, I wanted to make sure it was precise. I did sort of get lost in it a little bit, just sewing away. My husband at one point came up and said, "It's still in here." But I do that sometimes, but I enjoyed making it, as I said. What I've also done across the bottom is I've stitched my straps here and here because I did find that when I put these on, instead of attaching them to the back panel, silly me, I attached them to the front, and I didn't want to undo it all over again. So I've just stitched across here and I think that works fine. And they are adjustable, and even though I didn't have the proper rucksack sort of loop carriers for this, I've just used a regular D-ring and that works fine because it fits nice and snug and you can still adjust it. And I'm really loving how all the colours go together. So in this pattern at the front you can see we've got the green, blue with the zip, a red, a grey, this neutral and sort of a really deep mustardy colour, and all of those fabrics that I was gifted are all in these colours. I also added, I think I mentioned this, some bias strip around this where I've padded the strap, and then done the bottom one to coordinate with this, and also the pocket at the front, which still has a tissue in there from yesterday, not been used. And then finally I added one of my little labels. Now I had these made when I was doing some bag making. They're not cheap, I have to say. They are quite small, but I think they do just finish it off. So I've got a few of those left. I may buy some more if I want to add some more to the bags that I'm making for myself and as gifts for other people. So let me know what you think. I think this was a great scrap busting project, and if you've got little bits of fabric out there, it's well worth having a go at just cutting some of your own shapes and having a play around. If you've got some time and you want to do it, that is of course. You can buy patterns for these things, but they can be quite expensive and you may want to just try it yourself. So I've got my notebook here with all my little workings out and how big my pieces were, and I'll be keeping my pieces that I cut out of the tissue paper for if I want to do one in future. And of course the next time I do it, it'll be much quicker because I've done it now to my measurements, so I know that they work. So that's all from me for today. I'm going to have a little tidy up now because it's a bit of a mess in here now with all the bits of fabric and foam and things cut out. Please let me know what you think and let me know if this was useful to you and if you're going to be having a go. See you soon. Thank you so much for watching, and remember to like and subscribe. Bye for now.